Thanks for your patience. Now over to you, Akshay. The virtual stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, hi everyone. Please feel free to put in your comments in the chat. Uh, Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the data series of Analytics Vidya. And my name is Akshay Bhaskar. And today I'll be, over the next 1 hour, I'll be teaching few things about SQL, and we'll be doing solving certain questions on Leetcode as well. So yes, this is live. And okay, so before I begin and I tell you a little about data and we talk about the whole thing, I can see through the poll that there are like around 35 to 40% of freshers, and there are few people who have experience of less than 3 years. And there's some people as well who have more than 3 years of experience. But my intent in this whole session would be to kind of create an overall understanding about of how a data analyst actually thinks. That is also very important. Also, we'll see few concepts in obviously SQL, some as mentioned, group by joins and aggregate function, and we'll also do a few questions on Leetcode. Having said that, first I want to begin this session with the understanding of a data analyst. So I have 8 years of experience in the same. So I have worked with edtech startups. I am sure that many people in this audience and whoever students who are watching, who is listening to me, they know that about the company Geeks for Geeks. So I have worked in that, and I have worked at RBS. So I have some experience with senior stakeholders as well, working closely with the founders and different departments and different verticals of the marketing or the business. For example, product management is the new which came in last 3-4 years, marketing and a sales team and all the UI UX teams. So these teams, the whole flavor. So you need to understand all the verticals, think from all the mindset of all the verticals, and then kind of focus on your skill as to where you fit in. So I'll just share my screen now. I'll just put up some a PPT in front of you, some bullet points, so that you guys will know that what we'll stick to the point, and we'll talk about some fundamentals as well, and then we'll solve few questions, few things. And if there are any doubts, anything in between, anything you feel is important, you need to ask, just feel free to drop in your questions. Just make sure you stick to the subject which we are talking about, and let's dig in deep, and let's see how it is. Good evening, Pauline. Thank you so much for joining. Good evening, Sandeep. And I am expecting more comments, and want this session to be a little engaging, so that I get to know you guys better, and hopefully we can make this 1 hour productive. Okay, so I'll just start now. I'll just share my screen, and let me know if you can see my screen or not. Okay. So I hope everybody can see my screen. Give me a yes or a no, please. Okay, great. I can see a few comments. Hi, great. So it's so good to see so many comments, right? So please, that's like kind of, it makes me feel that I'm not talking to a wall, right? That is also very important. So just uh, feel free to pitch in your questions, queries, or anything related you want to ask at this end of the session. Generic question, that is also super welcome, because I understand all the dilemmas and confusion one goes through, whether they should go for this field or whether they should switch, how many years and what takes are you. So I understand all of that confusion. So feel free to drop in your questions. Great. All right, let's begin. So before I begin and start talking about SQL with you guys, it's important to know why we use it and where we use it, which world requires that, So first, I really want to talk about what is data. So if we are using this term, like every other day we use this term, but do we really know what it is? I'll just throw some light on it, so that we can, it sometimes it's really good to see it at a very fundamental level, is what I feel. So I'll just start with that. So whatever we can record, or whatever fact or information we can track or measure, okay, that can qualify as a data. All right. So whatever can be tracked, whatever you can see around you, which you feel can be measured, and it can be a fact or information, that is called a data. All right. So every business we see, they have every business has different kind of products in different industries. They offer different services. Everything is, measured right from the sales to the even the employees data, how many resources we need, how many we don't need, how many pages of websites do we have, and what traffic we have. Every area can be tracked, right? So that the whole world kind of opened up few years ago when people realize that, okay, we are spending a lot of money on marketing. That's good. We are thinking, okay, this should be what it is. Through our market research and through our intuition or our understanding, we feel what it is. But can we make a very wise decision based on what has been happening for last 1 year? So all those decision making, which is based on crude facts, not on somebody's intuition, but on actual facts, what happened, that can be done if we can measure data. And we have very comprehensive tools in the industry, end-to-end products, which help us exactly do that. I'm sure that many people in the audience, they have listened, they have heard about tools like Google Analytics, how every page, a bit of your page can be measured, right? Give me a yes or a no in the audience if you've already, about this product, that these measurements happen, like Google Analytics is there, everything in your database is being tracked. Everybody knows that, right? Great, great. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. People know, they have already understood the value of how important it is to know what you're doing when you're doing it. Otherwise, there's no point, right? Otherwise, there's no point. We just can make strong promises within our corporate teams, and just keep on convincing them on our feeling or our belief, and that doesn't make sure, right? That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. So I just I need you to understand the gravity and the importance of data and the scope the field holds. It would never go away. It would only increase. The whole thing is how better we can generate insights out of what we have in hand. All right. And the whole strategy as to how it is done, that is where database come and so it comes into the picture, right? So database is nothing but how do you represent a data? If I say I want to represent data, the simplest and the best thing, the way you can do the representation is a table. Exactly, Mohammed. That's completely correct. So we use a table to represent data. It has rows, it has columns. The columns are basically nothing but fields. What columns we are putting in, what information do we had. Every row is called a record, and it tells us the exact information of a table. We'll see some examples in Leetcode where you'll be seeing some tables. So you'll get a very, they are very simple. You'll simply understand it. Okay. But right now I want you guys to focus on, like, what is a database? It is nothing but a collection of data represented in the form of tables. All right. So that whole collection, and these tables can be related to each other, right? For example, I have an employee data. I know that this table or this data holds all the information related to their IDs, their names, their salaries. This is my employee data. And the other can be department data, which has the employee IDs and the department of the respective IDs. Okay. So these two tables are related because both of them have the employee IDs. So we can access the department as well and the names and the salaries as well. So that's why it's a relational database management system. That's why you must have heard the term RDBMS. That's what it is. Different tables are related to each other. The whole collection of this data, these tables, okay, the data is nothing but the table. Okay, this whole collection is called database. And there are various tools to store huge databases, which you have heard in the form of big data, BigQuery of Google, for example. As or somebody mentioned Microsoft products. So we can store data over here, AWS. So these are all database management systems where you can store data, but you should Snowflake, yeah, but you should understand what database is, right? Sometimes we get so lost in these fancy words that we completely forget about the fact that what it is, like very simple things, what I'm saying. So I want both the things to go in parallel for next 45 minutes, that we should also focus on developing our curiosity and a little respect and love for the field which we are doing, and also the technical part which will obviously look. So that's how we'll go about it. So I've already talked about representation of data as a table. Okay, but why data analysis? I mean, I have emphasized my point that okay, how important is data and how it is important to make a data-driven decision, which is based on facts, not a feeling or a belief, right? But why data analysis? Because in last many years, people have seen growth like 30%, 40%, until 200 to 200% growth in the industry just by deploying data strategy in an effective way. Okay. Initially, see, everybody knows that Facebook had ads like 10 years ago. It started like they were measuring it already. All the ads came. We had that data, but how amazing and how much in a deeper way, and even machine learning is also coming into the picture. We can do it. That is the work of a data analyst. That is why data analyst. It is not only about tracking simple metrics. It is also about playing with that data and generating insights from it. So and not only that, once you have the insights, it's also about communicating it effectively to the other senior stakeholders and understanding their perspective as well, right? A data person needs to work with all kinds of teams if the work requires. Marketing is very much there. Like he needs to work with the marketing team, with the ads team, with the sales team, with the CRM team. Okay. So with the product team, website team, tech team. So you should understand each and every world. You should. So I would highly recommend whoever, I mean, try to get more hands-on experience. Okay, it's very important. uh, don't just mug up things, don't just learn things. That can help to a certain extent, but if you really want to start as a fresher or crack a great interview, and you want to, you just know your thing, then you should go for some project or something like that, or an online course. You can definitely like research analytics with that as well. They have really great case studies, but what I mean is that you need to understand the hands on. Okay, so that is one thing. So data analysts and data analyst, business analyst jobs are out there right now. Market is little like shaky, and I know things are not very good. For next couple of months they won't be, but having said that, I understand the frequency is of companies reaching out to people looking out for new jobs might be less. However, they will be always there. If you're good, if you know what you're doing, if you know how to reach out to people, so that won't be a problem. So moving on, I've already talked about RDBMS, and uh, so somebody asked, Bhanu asked, if we have only given a data set, how can we know which insights can we draw from the given data set? Which insights? Okay, that's great. Okay, shall just let me know if shall I answer this question right now, or shall I move to the next segment? Yes or no? I can also take this up later, but you tell me, guys. If it's a yes, I'll just answer it. The question is that why, like if I am given a data set, how would I know that what do I need to take out of it? Like what insights I need to take out of it? How would I know that? Right? And it's a good question. Okay, so Mohammed is saying yes. I just need one or two yeses more, if possible, please. Welcome, Mary. That's okay. I would try to make things easy as much as possible. Okay, great, 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 great. I'll just talk about it. See, that's the whole catch. It really depends on what do we want to solve, right? It's important to ask the right kind of question, in a sense that if I am given a table, say employee table, then I would want to ask the other person giving me the data, please tell me what do you want to know from this data, right? So it depends on the business problem. If the other person says me, I want to know all those people working in my company to whom I am giving 50,000 rupees, Indian rupees per month, more than that. So tell me the name of those employees who are getting more than 50,000 INR per month salary. So I would know now what I have to look into the data. Okay. I would know that, okay, I need names, I need this column. Cool. I need this. If I need salaries and there's a condition of $50,000, then I need to only fetch those records which have the value greater than 50,000 in the salary column. You know what I mean? So if you should know, you should exactly know what you are searching for, right? For that, you need to ask the relevant questions to the other stakeholders. For example, a marketing person can come to you and say you have this data of all the channels we are using to get people on our website. You have seen, right? How are we, how do people market us? You think like that. You think like a user also, and also as a marketer. Like if I need to get somebody on my website, okay, then what would I do? There would be many channels. Somebody, I saw something on my WhatsApp and I clicked that. I saw an ad. I saw a Google search ad. Anything. It can be anything. So if I have a data of my acquisition channels from where people are coming on my website, but I need to ask the other person, the marketing person signing me this, that okay, what do you want me to tell you, right? Or do you want some like category distribution in terms of channels as to which is working best in last couple of quarters? What do you want? So what insights you generate, it won't come out of the blue. It would depend on what business problem you have in hand, and that it should be very clear with all the keeping all the stakeholders in place. Because I've seen that this, even people having 5 to 7 years 8 years experience are in this, like are listening to this podcast or webinar. So I would like to really mention this, right? So it's very important. Sometimes there's a lack of communication. We assume things, like assumptions are fine, but at what, till what extent are we making assumptions? So it's really important to ask the right questions. Many times we focus on getting the right answer, but we forget that the questions asked are not right sometimes, for that, it's very important that a data person is well versed with the business they're working in. It should not be a case that like you just know what you're doing because somebody told you. You should know the business. You should know new opportunities in your space, whether it is ed tech, whether it is e-commerce or anything. And may I know, like, what different industries people are who are watching us, what kind of industry they are working in, so that I can add some context. Yeah, business knowledge, but I mean, what all industries you are well versed with, you know. I see. Personally, I have hands-on with edtech, investment banking, and health and fitness a bit, and now marketing agency. But other than that, if even I need to learn now, then if I'll go to a new company, then I have to make sure that I'm understanding their industry well. So that is also a very intrinsic part of the job of a data person, that he can't be a standalone entity in a company. He has to kind of shake hands with all the entities. Okay. Okay, so banking, construction, retail banking, okay, finance, healthcare, supply chain, university and data science, great, okay, edtech, yeah, telecom. So there are variety of you all are working in different industries. So just want to mention that if it's edtech or telecom, you should know what's going on in their industries. I can talk about edtech, I can talk about finance a little bit, banking a little bit. Construction, I don't have much experience right now, but yeah, if somebody is even working in some other industry which I am not well versed, I hope they are doing their market research right. If I have been working in one, I would do it. Okay, Bhanu, you are fresher, just completed data science course. That's great. Keep hustling. That's good. I wish that you get what you're searching for, like a job. I think fresher. I'm assuming. How can we decide domain? So domain you're asking in terms of in terms of data or tech or marketing or the industry. So if my personal opinion on industry is that you should choose an industry in which you have an interest or you feel you are comfortable with. I feel that should be the case. You think you can understand that kind of a mind and a business, you should choose that domain. That is what I can say in this context. Anyways, that question is answered in a way that it depends on the business problem. So ask the question, so you know what you're finding, you know the question, then just dig into that part of the data which answer the question. That's how it is. Okay. Moving on. Let's talk about some technologies which are used in this world of data analysis. Okay. You know that there are some data analysis done in Excel and PowerPoint. So Microsoft Office suite. or Google Cloud products like Google Sheets, Google Docs. So that's basic Google Slide. That basic which you'll be using in your work, right? Whoever is working, they know that's like a basic part of the job, where you need to manipulate data in your Excel sheets, and you need to generate pivot tables, create reports out of it, put it in a PPT, use PowerPoint or Google Slide for that. So all those kind of things. That is one part, at the basic. And then on top of your data tables, whatever products, whatever data you have, you need to do SQL. Like structured query languages is nothing but it's a language to communicate with data tables, with databases. If you need to get some data and if you need to change something in it, and if you need to talk to that table in a sense, that language is called SQL or structured query language. That's what it is. Okay. Apart from that, for report generation, as you know, there are a lot of graphs in data analysis. You must have seen, you must have even a basic blog you have read, you know that there are graphs involved, right? So business intelligence is nothing but these are those tools. You must have heard about Tableau or Power BI, right? So these are few examples of those tools which help us to generate very intensive and interactive reports. Okay, so we can pull data in these tools, and these are the business intelligence tools which help us to create dashboards and reports in a more in depth analysis of our reports. Basically, there are different kinds of charts, but this is not the agenda of today's data hour session. I want to stick to SQL, and mainly like how it is used in data analysis. And because only half an hour is left, so I want us to focus on Leetcode questions as well. So I'll just jump on to the next technology. But I want you guys to, and this PPT will be shared with you guys. So at least you'll have an overall structure and framework of what all things are there in this field. And you can then, individually do your research, make good Google queries, and get answer. Even chat GPT is there these days. So you just need to write business intelligence there and it'll give you what you need. So, that thing I leave to you guys. I know you're smart enough, you'll figure that thing out. Moving on, you know that machine learning and stats is one part which is also coming in this industry, where you kind of do forecasting models. You can predict how the sales or the trend will be in next 1 year, and so many things. Like you can make predictions. Basically, it's not only about what has happened, like not only descriptive analysis but also predictive analysis as to what can happen, so that you can also predict futures and also mitigate or hedge things coming in future, and whatever it depends on where you are. So that is what it is. So for machine learning and stats, you need to be well versed with Python and R. Like there are options. You can be well versed with Python or R. Both of them are not required. So I am myself educating myself more on Python, and I've been using it for last 2 years only. So SQL is still like, okay, I have still more experience than what it is. So I can say, but yeah, if somebody is planning to go very deep in data science fields and want to exceed further in that direction, so it's very important that they are very good with Python or R language. Choose one whichever you feel you can be more comfortable with. I personally like Python more. I don't know, maybe because of the name, or I don't know. I just kind of started with it, and I'm very comfortable with it. So, anyways, moving on, project management tools. Like that there can be a situation where you need to manage a project, right? So I have used Jira personally, and most of the guys like Python. All right, that's great. So project Jira is one tool which you can figure out, which you can research. It's a very straightforward, intuitive tool, really great product, and that I use to manage my tasks, allocate tasks in my team. So that's what I use, and that can be a case. So you should know that it will be a bonus for you guys only if you know this tool. It'll help you crack your interviews better. Anyways, moving on. So there's few more things. There are. I will just give an overview of some commands which are there in SQL. There you can create a table. You can insert values into it. You can select few columns out of it. I don't want to like go very slow here, because this thing you can simply Google, and it's a very straightforward syntax. Like this session, I want us to solve problems so that we can at least we feel little confident and as to what actual questions can be asked in an interview, in a tech round especially. So data analyst always has a case study round they can have, but there's always one tech round where you will be questioned on your SQL majorly. So you should be very, very good with SQL in that context. Okay. So there are aggregate functions is nothing but see aggregation means that it happens on a certain number of records. Okay. Like you can take the sum, you can take the average of some of the values in the records. Okay. So all these functions, average, count, and sum, which happens on a group of rows, not on a single row. Those are called aggregate function. We'll be using some of them in our example, Leetcode example, in just next few couple of minutes. But that is what it is. So there is a complete list which you can go through, but that is what the concept is in a fundamental way. As I said, there are relationship between tables. Database is a collection of tables, and there's a relationship between the tables. They can be joined with each other. There are different type of joins in SQL. There's a left join, there's a right join, full iter join. These kind of joins. We'll be doing a left join question today, and at that time I'll tell you what exactly left join is. Like because we'll have a table in front of us, so that we'll do. Okay, and we'll be also using group by function, which is used to group the rows, and we'll be solving Leetcode. Okay, this self join is also there. That is one concept, but that I'll also tell you. Okay, let's jump into the questions in another 1 minute. This I'll be opening up for the last 5 to 10 minutes, where you can ask me questions related to future scope or pay scales or opportunities or generic queries, like if you're from a non-tech background and you are completely fresher and if you're overwhelmed that it's a tech, and if there is a lot of business acumen required, these whole things can be acquired. Believe me, when I started out, I didn't get uh, a good. I was not a very someone who was very natural at all these things. I just acquired it and I'm doing decent now. So I feel that whoever is starting out can easily do it, and everybody, this field is really great. If you really do it well, you can do good. So this we'll see at the last. Now let me take a minute and let me just set up the Leetcode. And I want you guys, whoever has Leetcode in their system, Leetcode is obviously a web app. Just go to leetcode.com, and if somebody has a premium version, you can just sign into your Leetcode account. Okay. I am solving 3 questions today. There might be a case that few of those questions might be premium, but need not worry. In my screen, you can see the question and you can write down your answers on your notepad, and then you can use an online compiler later on. Okay. But whoever has a Leetcode, you can see the question number as well. You can side by side submit it and solve it on your Leetcode itself. Okay. So I just take 2-3 minutes right now, and just let me know when everybody has their Leetcode on and the notepads on. Okay, I'll also just take a minute. We'll just start. Okay, give me a yes or a no if everybody is on it, so that I know. Cool. Thanks, Tushar. Thank you. All right, let us start. Just log into your Leetcode accounts. Catherine, it's leetcode.com. You can just go there and sign in with your, you can just create an account if it's not there, and you can sign in there. Can somebody please paste the leetcode.com link here, please? I think that would be good. I'm setting side by side. Can everybody see my screen? Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Just open up your notepads. We'll write from the scratch. We'll understand what it is. Okay. Great. Okay. So on the left, you can see the question. I just need to tell the number is 1350, students with invalid department. That's the name of the question. Just avoid the right hand statements. Just avoid them. We'll just first go through the question and we'll understand what we have understood. Then we'll understand the answers, but not right now. Okay. So just be with me and just tell me if everybody has opened 1350 in their systems. What you can do is that you can write, there is a search section in Leetcode where you can search. You can just write the whole question name. Like you can write students with invalid departments in the search section. You can start there. And if not, if you are getting, see, the thing is that we only have 15 minutes right now. And so it's very important for us to speed up a little. You can just open up your notepads. That's completely fine. Just open a notepad or a Microsoft like Word or something like that in your system, and you can write over there. That's completely fine. But the more important part is that we understand the question very well and we understand what it is like completely. Okay, so whoever can't open a Leetcode, that's completely okay. Okay, you can open up your notepads. We'll start with that. Yeah, notepad is fine. Yeah. Okay, great. So see, on the left, I'll start with the question. We have a table with the name departments. Okay. So there are two columns in it. One is an ID. It is of an integer type. Okay. And one is name, which is of a varchar. Varchar is nothing but it can be a string or a text. Okay. So ID is the primary key of this table. So it is unique and not nil. Primary key is nothing but it is unique in a sense that it cannot have duplicate values and it cannot be null. Null is nothing but a blank value in SQL. Okay. So ID is the primary key of this table. The table has information about the ID of each department of a university, which makes sense, right? Every row here indicates an ID and the name of that ID, and it is a department. Okay, that's a department ID and a department name, and because the table name is departments. That's intuitive. So always when you're reading a question, try to make sense of the business, right? Always try to understand, okay, there is a department, I know the department information, correct. Okay, cool. So you just register the business sense within it, like parallelly. Don't just start to write, code and all those things. Okay, I have already solved these questions. So I don't want you to right now to search for the question. No, that is already there. I want you to join the dots right now. In such a short span of time, if you can understand how to connect the dots, I am sure that with some practice, you get it. That's, I know this database might be logged, you need payment. That's okay. Forget about it. Okay. Just forget about it. Just open up your notepad. That's completely okay. Okay. It's trying to focus on the concept. Okay. That's completely okay. Let's begin. So we are aware about the departments table now. Let's look at the students table. So then again, it has three columns: ID, name, and department ID. Okay, ID is an int, name is a varchar, and department underscore ID is an int. Note that this ID, this is a student's ID. It is an ID of a student, not the department. And the department underscore ID is the department of the ID, which was also the same ID which was in the first table. Everybody is with me on this, right? Give me a yes or a no, please. Is there any doubt? Okay. I have one yes from Shivam. Okay, great, great. So the below table students have ID of a student and the name of the student, and it has a department ID, which is the same column which we have in the first table ID. That's a department ID. So we know one column is common. So we can join these tables. We can see that there's a possibility there that this makes sense because this thing is common. Maybe they would ask a question like something related to both departments and students, right? Something common. Let's see. Again, ID here is the primary key for this table, which makes sense. It should be unique and not null. Okay. The table has information about the ID of each student at a university and the ID of the department he or she studies at. That is obvious. It has an ID, it has the student name, and also the department of the ID in which he is studying. And the department names are given in this corresponding to the IDs in the first table. Okay, great. I think you got that much. Now let's look at the question. It says write an SQL query to find the ID and name of all students who are enrolled in departments that no longer exist. Okay. That means all the students who have the departments which do not exist in the first table, they want only those names. So is everybody with me on this? Should I repeat it? Give me a yes or a no. Should I repeat it? Okay, I shall repeat it. Okay. All right. Great. I'll repeat it. See, first, let's understand the question. Find the ID and name of all students. That much is clear. ID and name is in the second table. Okay, great. Who are enrolled in departments, who are in those department IDs that no longer exist. That means those department IDs are not present in this table, in the first table. Okay. Nikhil, it's 7:41 already. We have 20 more minutes. So I'll try to cover 2 questions so that this will have a left join and this will have a join and the other one can have group by an aggregation. I'll just look at it, but let us not waste more time. It's very important right now to understand the question over here. Okay, we'll try to cover 2. I think that we can do at least. All right. Now, the important thing is that people understand the question right now. Okay. So they are asking me for those students who are in those departments that do not exist any further. Now, the question is, which are those departments which exist? So all the IDs which are present in the first table, this department tables, only they exist. That means all the department IDs which are not in this table, that is my answer. All the students who are in those department IDs which are not present in the first table, that would be my answer. Am I more clear? Does that make sense? All right. Let us take an example. For more clarity, I know there might be some students who are not writing and okay, wait. Somebody is saying that they can't see my screen. That's not possible. I am sharing my screen. See, is anybody else is also facing a problem or not seeing the screen? Please let me know. I'll get back to you on why are we using left join. That's we'll just study that. Screen is visible. Okay, nobody else is having an issue. All right, I think there might be some technical error on the individual's end. Please have a look at it once. So let us look at 2 example tables. Then it will be very simple. Okay, there is a department table given. ID is 1713. It's an int type. Name is varchar, electrical engineering, computer engineering, business administration. That's the first table, departments. Okay. Students table is one is ID and the name of the student and which department he is currently in. So the ID with the students, ID with 23, he is currently in the first department, one department, and that one department is electrical engineering that we can see from the above table, departments table. This is very easy and straightforward. Okay. Now look at the output. In the output, I just got those names to John, Diana, Jasmine, Steve are all those names who have enrolled in departments 14, 33, 74, and 77, which you can have a look at this table. Okay, see, John is in 14. All right, Diana is in 33. All right, and 74 and 77. All right, and these departments, they do not exist in the departments table. They don't exist here. This table only has 3 departments. So whichever student is in the department ID, which are other than 1, 7, and 13, I just want to return those rows, just those ID and name. Does that make sense? Or shall I repeat it? Huh? Okay, it makes sense. I'll just repeat it once more. Okay, great. It makes sense, right? All right. So that's about it. So in these cases, whenever there's a situation, right, where you need few of the rows which don't exist any further, think of it as a left join or a right join case. Why I'm saying left join and right join and what it is. Join simply means that you are joining two tables. That means some common rows will be added, okay, based on certain common columns. For example, let me give you an example. Okay, if I join these two tables, okay, I know the column which is common is department ID is in the first table and the second table has department underscore ID. Okay, so these both of the columns, okay, are same and they can be, these two tables can be joined based on these two columns, and that is called a key. In SQL, it's a key. The syntax is very simple, right? What first let's look at the left join syntax only. Okay, so we have students table. We want to join this student table with the department table. All right. We'll write students first, then we'll use left join keyword, then the other table departments, and then we'll use a keyword on to specify which key we want to join it. Okay. I mentioned students.department underscore ID equals departments.id. That means I want to join these two tables based on the fact that all the common rows of these I shall get. For that means my resulting table will have all everything related to students table because it's a left join. Whenever there's a left join, whichever table is in the left, every row and every column of that table will come. That will come as it is. But apart from that, I would also need ID and name columns from the departments table based on the fact that it should be same. Like only 23 Alice 1 electrical engineering in front of it, and only 7 no, not this one, 8 Jonathan 7 computer engineering will be displayed. Only 3 extra rows will come in the resulting table. So join is nothing but a way to get the common records based on a certain key, and that key is nothing but a common column. Okay, which in this case we have student department underscore ID in the students table and ID in the departments table. Based on that, we said that okay, we need a resulting table which has everything related to students, every record related to students, but only those rows will be filled, those values will be filled in which 1, 7, and 13 are equal to 1, 7, and 13 in the department ID in the below table. Does that make sense? Or am I being too fast right now? Does that make sense? Please, guys, let me know if it doesn't make sense. I'll try to take the other route. Okay, it makes sense. I need a few more yeses if I need to proceed further. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Great. Also, make sure because it's a left join and on the right side we're getting only common rows, right? We are not getting values for department IDs other than 1, 7, 13 in the first table. Okay, so what values will that contain, the right portion contain, where there is a corresponding left section that will have the null values. Okay, does that make sense? Why are we giving null? That's exactly why I'm answering that. See, the thing is, students table is on the left. I'll get every row, every row. Okay, from 23 till 11, each and every row I'll get it. Okay, but on the right side, imagine, just visualize there's a ID and name section also on the right side of this table, students table, which are highlighted in blue. Okay, over there, only and only 1 electrical engineering, 7 computer engineering, 13 business administration will be there in front of 1, 7, and 13 here, the top 3 rows. Rest all the rows, this left join won't be able to find the common rows. Okay, there's no common rows left to fill this section. Then it will populate null. Okay, then it will populate null in those values. That's why we know whichever department's name have a null, whichever when I'll join this table, when the resulting table will come, I know all those right section which has null. Those are those which cannot be in the department, because only those right section, only those values are there which are in the department table stated above. So I will just select students.id and student.name from the left table from this resulting left join which I made, with the condition that my departments.name, that the table, the values which are coming, the common values which are coming from my right table, that has null value. Okay. There is one question. Let me address that. Is the left table based on the records we want to fetch based on the condition in right table? See, it's don't generalize it like that. I don't want you to think very in a very generic way, because otherwise there can be a little question where there is a little trick and you'll be start applying everything there. Then it can be a problem. Okay, don't think like that. You just think, if there are two tables, all right, and if you want to fetch anything, there can be a possibility of null. Whenever you do left join, whatever rows are not column, for those corresponding left values, right values will be null. So it can be some relation. Think in a very loose way. I want you to it's not a very rigid framework. Just I want to make sure to understand that null appears in left join in this case. Okay, so that you know. And if it's a join, if it's a cell join somebody mentioned, then only common rows would come. Then the resulting table would be this 1, 7 and 3, based on only three rows will be returned, or 1, 7, 1, 7, 1, whichever has 1, 7, 13. I think there are 6 or 7, only those will be returned, that because those are only common rows. But because we did left join, as students table was on the left, we did mention it before the left join keyword. All right, it was on the left, so all the rows came and the right section had null, so we put a condition. Okay, so take this example as a it there can be a case that you're giving one interview and there's something similar is asked. That can because I was asked this question in one of my interviews. Okay, so that is how it is, right? I just want to take it as a concept of left join and join. Okay, yeah, Lalit, I understand generally, but if you practice it, you understand it. It'll come with practice. That's fine. Okay, yeah, I can show the output. I'll just run it once. I have tested it and see the input. You can see the students and see the output. The output coming is these are only those IDs and those names which are in departments which are apart from 1, 7 and 13. If you look at John, okay, so John is in 14, makes sense. Jasmine is in 77, Steve again 74, Diana 33. So these are not 1, 7 and 13. These are not they do not exist in the first table, right? So that's it. So that's how it is. I hope this question is a little clear. You got some sense of it, like how you can approach, start writing SQLs. Leetcode is a great platform if you need to do such questions. You there are two benefits practicing from a platform which already has question, Leetcode, HackerRank, is that it has different business scenarios, right? This was related to department, student. Okay, and there are so many more. So your business sense would also develop, and you'll also practice and write the queries and understand it much better. Okay, so already I think it's 7:55 and I am getting questions and I don't want to miss the Q&A part. So I want you guys to ask me some generic questions if possible related to, see, in 1 hour it's impossible for anyone to make you understand everything related to what SQL is about. But the least I can do from my side is that at least after this 1 hour, you don't feel demotivated regarding data. You feel you want to know more, you want to learn more. I think that is important. That is what it is. So I will just take another 3-4 minutes and answer few questions if it is regarding today's session, some overview of any SQL thing you think it's important. And if I can talk about it in a theoretical way right now, I can't be hands-on in another 2-3 minutes. It's not possible. Okay, so I'm open to the questions. Please let me know if you have any questions, and then we'll end the session in another 5 minutes. Siddharth, I understand $39, but it's for an year. So I personally feel that the amount of content Leetcode has, and the like the amount of technologies it has in terms of, you also have questions related to algorithms, pythons, and everything. You have quizzes, you have, and also it tells you which interview, in which company it was asked. So that is also a very good thing. I think $39 is a fair price according to me. But if still you want to go for a completely just free version, so Leetcode has some free questions, and even HackerRank has it. So try to search for those platforms which offer few questions for free. But I would recommend you to at least do this much investment for your study, because it's a great practicing platform. HackerRank or Leetcode, I think for SQL, it's, see, both of them are really good. I personally have solved both HackerRank and Leetcode for SQL particularly. So I would recommend what I think it's all about whichever where do you are finding more interesting or more catchy. Just try any of the two products. Just stick with one in the start, and you can also do alternate. It's all about solving questions. It's not about uh, the platform, but it's about the amount of questions you're doing. That's very important. They require no SQL. Yes, there are some JDs required no SQL. There are some syntax differences, but I think you can simply, before every interview, make a practice of going through the JD. And if there is some technology which is like no SQL, just read about the basic syntaxes and what difference is there. For example, you are well versed with MySQL. Okay, so what you can do is that you can see what is the difference between MySQL and NoSQL. That should be a Google query. So you can just tell your interviewer, I have hands-on in MySQL, I understand SQL, and you can test me on my concepts regarding it. However, I know the difference in new SQL, so I know it will be very like, I can make the learning curve won't be very high. I can make the transition. All right. So you need to communicate that, okay, and they completely will understand it, because everybody knows that in their career, whether it is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you can a project has a limitation when it comes to how many technologies you can use. Nobody uses 4 products for same thing. Everybody sticks to one product. So everybody knows hands-on can be limited, but you can tell you are well aware and educated, and you can do things when you need to do. You can learn things, and it's like almost similar. That's about it. And at university, they're using Notepad++. Which would you say is better? You use this one or Leetcode? Actually, in Notepad++, you can't debug things, is what I feel. And Leetcode has their own compiler where you can debug things and you can do things. So I think I would say you to go for Leetcode. Okay. SQL interview questions. So see, again, HackerRank, Leetcode, they both are curated in a way that the students prepare for interviews. Having said that, there are few websites which have SQL interview questions which are theoretically asked. Okay, so if you're a fresher, you are joining, there can be a scenario where the other person expects you to know the exact definitions and exact differences. Okay, then for that you can just there are a lot of plethora of blogs available on the internet, where you can just type top SQL interview question. You'll get 60, 80, 100 questions, and every each one of the blog, you'll note that they have overlapping questions, because it's the standard. There are certain questions which are asked. So I would say take out your Google hat on and just go for it. And I, by the way, I'm a very big uh, practitioner of Google. I don't know, Googler, maybe. I really feel all the answers are there on the internet. So you should know you should know how to ask the right questions to your search bot. That's what it is. How can we show our expertise on SQL on resume? Use the right keywords on resume. Tell them that see, very important for resume is that you have projects mentioned in resume. All right, there should be some hands-on, right? And if you're a fresher, I'm assuming, and then you need to take up a project or take up a course which has a project where you can say, or an online certification, you can mention that SQL was required in this and how you use that SQL to extract data, whether to manipulate. So these are few keywords, ETL, search for these keywords, data warehousing. And let me tell you a better hack, by the way. Just go on LinkedIn, go to the job section, go to a nice search for data analyst, go to the JD, see what keywords are written there, what they require from SQL. You'll get an idea from there. And also make sure you are educated about that, you know what it is. That is also very important. But that's a simple hack. You'll know what exactly how you can portray things on resume, but it should be substantial, it should be hands-on so that you know what you're saying. Otherwise, you'll just ruin the interview. There's no point actually to go there. All right, it's 8 p.m. now. I think I need to cut short the session right now, but it was a great session according to me. I really loved every bit of it. I could share few. I wanted to share more, but there's limitation on the timings, and I tried my best to give a holistic overview of what it is. I didn't want to make it like a mechanical thing just for the sake of. And welcome, Shivam. Thank you so much for acknowledging the effort. And I myself am very kind of happy that the feedback is also okay. So thank you so much about that. And I wish you good luck. Feel free to reach out to me or connect with me on LinkedIn if there's anything that can come up in future. So my name is Akshay Bhaskar. You can search me. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn profile. Thank you so much. Thanks to Analytics Vidya, especially for hosting this session and giving me this opportunity so I can share my knowledge, and I can also feel important. I'll just go out and somebody can take this up. If Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Akshay. Before we move forward, I would also request all the attendees to kindly fill up the feedback poll. It helps us to conduct more of these sessions frequently. And thanks a lot, Akshay, once again on the behalf of the Community Analytics Vidya team for taking out your time and delivering such a wonderful session. I'm sure our audience found it insightful, and hopefully we can conduct more of these sessions in future. I've already pinned the speaker's profile in the chat box, so you all can connect with him. I hope everyone has filled the feedback form. If not, if I request you all to do so. Your feedback is valuable to us and helps us to conduct more of these knowledge sessions frequently. If anyone of you would like to conduct a session like DataHour with us, you can mail us at datahour@analyticsvidya.com. The recording of this session will be available on our YouTube channel. These sessions were live on YouTube, so also I'm pinning the link of a YouTube channel playlist in the chat box. You can have it. And also, we are having one other session at 8:30 p.m. today. So the link is already in the chat section below. Hurry up and register for that. If not, I'll also paste that link once again so that you should not miss it. So the link for this 8:30 p.m. session is in the chat box below. So see you in the upcoming data sessions. Thanks all for joining. That's it from my side. Thank you. Bye-bye. Keep learning. Thank you.